I mentioned this in the warm-up of a previous lesson, but let's see if you can remember. What are the slopes of these lines? I have the red line and the blue line. What are the slopes? Well, if you recall, a horizontal line has 0 rise and infinite run. So 0 divided by anything is 0, so the slope is 0. A vertical line has an infinite rise and 0 run. Okay, so any number divided by 0 is undefined. There's no way you can divide by 0. If you do that in a calculator, any number divided by 0, it'll say error or something like that. You won't get a value. So this is undefined. There's no number that can define the slope. So we just say the slope is undefined. So in this lesson, we're going to spend a little more time talking about horizontal and vertical lines in more detail. So for horizontal lines, we can think of the slope as rise over run. Well, if there's no slope, then rise is 0. 0 divided by anything is 0, so the slope is 0. Now, as far as an equation goes, here we have the general form, y equals mx plus b. Well, if m is 0, then we have y equals 0x plus b. Well, 0 times anything, it doesn't matter what x is. If it's multiplied by 0, that's just 0. So this whole term here is nothing. So really, our equation is just y equals b. And so when you have a horizontal line, that's the equation you'll have. Y equals a number, and that number is your y-intercept. When we think about vertical lines, on the other hand, well, now we have a rise, but we have no run. It's not moving left or right any. So we have the rise divided by a run of 0. Well, as I said before, if you divide by 0, you can't do it. It's an error. This is undefined. So if I have an undefined slope, then I can't put a number here. There's no way I can write a number in that spot because I can't have one. It's undefined. So my equation needs to look a little different than this. So because we're not going to write it in y equals mx plus b format, because that doesn't make any sense, we have to write it in a different way. Well, if I imagine a set of x and y axes, and I have a vertical line, that vertical line can have an infinite number of y values because it goes off in either direction, up and down. But what about x values? Well, x is always the same value on this line. So that's the format our equation is going to take for a vertical line. Our equation is going to be x equals a. A just is a number, whatever this number is that it goes through on the x-axis. So that's how you write an equation for a vertical line. X equals a number, and the number is whatever the x-coordinate is on that line. So let's practice. Here I have two lines, y equals 3 and x equals negative 4. Let's graph them. So for the first one, y equals 3. Notice this is in the format y equals a number, so this is a horizontal line. Y is equal to 3 at every single point on the line. So here we have y equals 3, here we have y equals 3, here we have y equals 3, and over here y is still equal to 3. So this is the line where y equals 3. Now this x equals negative 4. Well, it doesn't say anything about y, but x is minus 4. So that's over here. X is equal to negative 4 everywhere on the line. So x is equal to negative 4 all the way down here, up here, 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 and here. So that is the vertical line, x equals negative 4. And if you're putting more than one line on the same grid, you should label them so it's easy to tell which is which. So you can just label it with the equation. And hopefully this was helpful so that you could see the difference between equations for horizontal and vertical lines, as well as how to take the equations to make the graphs and vice versa.